This conference will now be recorded.
3 councillors and 1 deputy mayor joining us via video link. Is Councillor Anderson, Moss, Baker, and Deputy Mayor Irvine are joining us. I think first of all, I just wanted to make a couple of 3 general comments. I think that listening to the news today, Premier Moe, that Saskatchewan is doing very, very well in the containment of COVID-19. We hit 300 cases today. That was 2 more on Sunday, which is certainly trending in the right direction. And I believe the Premier has indicated that we're going to watch for another week or so here and see how things are going, and then we may be able to start on a graduated re-entry into normal life. I spoke to my medical friends yesterday, and they're very, very pleased with how Kindersley has responded to the clinic calls and to the nursing home, I guess, quarantine. But everybody has been very cooperative, and everything seems to be working great from a health point of view. So I think that's positive. And Kindersley, we just have to keep up the good work that we've been doing, the social distancing, and grocery stores and stuff have all taken a good deal of precautions. On an economic viewpoint, I don't know whether I'm quite as optimistic. This pandemic combined with the oil price crisis has certainly put a crunch on our community and in our country. We will tonight a little later be dealing with one of the things that we have control of, and that is property taxes, and we have a new bylaw that we will announce on that a little later in the evening. The second issue that we have is, and the only other thing we really charge for on a regular basis, is water. Obviously, there are going to be some people in town here that are going to be stretched, and we encourage you to please contact with us. It is never our intention to cut anybody's water off. We want to work with you, and we'll set up some kind of a plan that will work for both of us. So please do not hesitate to do that if that is becoming an issue in your life. I'll start with the agenda here. A new item that we're going to be reading here, a resolution that in response to the April 4th, 2020 Government of Saskatchewan Public Health Order as attached to and form part of the minutes of this meeting, the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves that until further notice as provided by a resolution of Council, the following measures are in effect for the purposes of conducting all regular scheduled meetings and any required special meetings of Council. That in accordance with the Municipalities Act 125, Council chambers, which is located in the administrative office at 106 Fifth Avenue East, shall be designated as the electronic communication facility for the town of Kindersley. The meeting shall be closed to the public attending in person, so the alternative method of live streaming the meeting at www.kindersley.ca will allow access to the public. Any member of council participating by conference call or any other available electronic means shall be deemed to be present at the meeting and thereby retain all privileges granted to them when attending in person. The Chief Administrative Officer or designate shall be in attendance at the communication facility for the duration of the meeting, and the meeting shall forthwith proceed as in the usual manner and in accordance with all applicable legislation of the province of Saskatchewan and bylaws of the town. And I need a mover and a seconder for that, please. Moved by Councillor Galbraith, second. Councillor Anderson. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Move on to agenda item 1.2, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley, having established quorum, resolves to call the April 13th, 2020 regular meeting of council to order at 5:17 p.m. Could I have a mover and a seconder for that, please? Deputy Mayor Randy, second. Councillor Moss, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. At this time, did anyone see anything on the consent agenda they would require to be moved onto the regular agenda? Seeing none, carry on.
I had one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Kinsman Shack, just a continuance from previous.
Oh,
Item 7.4.
right. Councillor Baker, that was just for the consent agenda, not for conflict of interest.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you were reading?
You're thinking of the conflict of interest, Chris?
Well, just the Kinsman Shack is a continuance from previous.
Yeah, we've removed that from the agenda though.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so agenda item 2.2, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to adopt the agenda for the April 13th regular meeting of council as amended to remove item 7.4, enter into an agreement, Kinsman Park Shack design build, and that a copy of this agenda be attached to and form part of the minutes of this meeting. I have a mover and a seconder, please. Movement. Councillor Galbraith, second. Councillor Becker, all in favor? And conflict of interest, if anyone have anything that they would wish to report a conflict of interest on the approved agenda, bearing in mind, Councillor Baker, that 7.4 has been removed from the approved agenda. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to 4.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves, whereas the time being 5:20 p.m., that the regular meeting of council be adjourned to a confidential in-camera meeting. But again, need a mover and a seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Randy, second. Sir Baker, all in favor? Carried.
This conference will now be recorded.
Council of Town of Kindersley resolves that whereas the time being 6:15 p.m., that the confidential in-camera meeting is moved and the regular seconder for that. Galbraith, all in favor? Okay, agenda item 6.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to approve as presented the minutes from the March 23rd, 2020 the council, and that these minutes be attached to and form part of the minutes of this meeting. Okay, I need a mover and a seconder, please. Second, Elise. All in favor? Okay, agenda item 7.1, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolved to commit a total of $150,000 to fund the West Central Abilities Office and Gate Program Facility Building Project that the payments be made in 3 annual installments of $50,000 in 2020, 2021, and 2022. I'll speak to that motion for just a minute. This number is entirely my creation. We've had discussions with the RM. I met with the RM together with Deputy Administrator Bogle, and we had good conversation, and they indicated how much they would put into the project and have already committed it, and then sent a letter out to us asking us to match it or to do something similar at least. CAO and I have looked at the tax costs, assuming this building is going to be assessed somewhere in the $1 million range, which we think it should be given the costs they're projecting. We looked at trying to match the RM's donation, but taking a little different view that if we gave forgiveness on taxes for 10 years, that should be worth something on a present day value. So I think we assumed what, 13.5 approximately, 13,000 would be.
Lost the audio here.
Yeah, I lost the audio as well.
I lost the audio too.
About the last 30 seconds.
Same here.
Oh, you might have to.
Yeah, you unmuted it, I think.
It's the lower red.
Can you hear the mayor, you guys?
Yes,
Oh, you can hear him?
now
Yes.
I can.
Okay.
Now I
have it
can, yeah.
unmuted.
Okay, I'll start over again. The calculation to how I ended up with those numbers is basically, CAO and I looked at the municipal taxes on a building of that size for 10 years would be approximately $130,000. We present valued it back to today to get about 100,000. And then I'm suggesting 50,000 a year to get our total contribution up to $250,000. In a nutshell, that's what I'm. And those numbers are entirely up to council to figure out what they want to do. Fire away with any comments you think on it. First.
I think we figured that's pretty fair as a council in our previous discussions. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add.
I think it's a good deal. The RM's chipping in. We've always worked with the RM, so work with them and help out the West Central abilities.
I'm in agreement. It's a good cause and I have no issues with it at all.
I think it's a good thing. I agree with it.
If not, I will call for a mover and a seconder for the motion. Okay, Councillor Anderson, mover, second. Councillor Becker, all in favor? Carried. Okay.
Can you guys hear the mayor when he's speaking right now?
Fairly good.
Okay,
Yes, I can hear him.
that better now?
Yep.
Okay, so 7.1 is passed. 7.2, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to pay to the Kindersley Plains Museum 50% of the sewer line cost. This goes back to last year, I guess, when we were discussing putting that east extension on the sewer and water, or the sewer. We knew that the museum probably would be required to be hooked up, and I think they wrote to us asking for some support, basically. Now, probably Deputy Administrator Kim can speak to this a little better as to costing, et cetera.
Sure. So yeah, so the Kindersley Museum Board did request for the town to contribute to the cost. With that, so basically when the East Expansion project was completed last year, there was put in the sanitary sewer, allowing their property to connect. Right now, they just have a septic tank. So as per our bylaw, it does state that once there is a sewer main available, that you should connect to it. The Kindersley Museum did get a quote last year to connect to the sewer main. Now they are in the process of getting more quotations, and construction prices have decreased a little bit since last year. We've seen that in some of our tenders that we've put out recently. So I guess what administration is maybe recommending is we could assist them with getting some pricing from different companies on this project, I guess. And we were just kind of putting forward maybe contributing to 50% of the cost. I don't know what council thought is on that. I think that's what the resolution reads, up to 50%. We didn't cap it at a certain dollar amount because the quotation that they got last year was only from one company, and it's maybe somewhat high, and we think that we might be able to find some local companies that might be able to do it more reasonable.
Any comments or thoughts on this, council?
How much was that quote? Or,
$28,000.
okay.
It is like a large property, they want they are going to have to look at that too. They have all those outbuildings like for the museum, like church and all in there. So they're probably going to look for so they don't disturb a lot of that back lot. It does seem high, so yeah, they wouldn't need anything more than that. I mean, they've got very basic needs at the museum, but our thought process with the 50% was, there are some other partners with the museum, and I mean, that's just what we were kind of putting forward. Council wants to put, more than 50% or less.
Any thoughts on this?
I'd like to see more of a fixed cost than a percent.
I think it would be easier to do a fixed cost once we got confirmed. Right now, we don't have any information, so
What about if we did $15,000 and if they get a better price, it's more money in their pocket? Or
Yeah,
just an
I'd feel
idea.
more comfortable. I'd feel more comfortable that way, because then, regardless of the amount, I just don't like the thought of a percentage, or all of a sudden that cost is 60,000 or something. You've agreed to
change the resolution to read 50% up to $15,000. Because unless you were thinking of paying the entire amount.
I think the one, just through to Councillor Baker, the one quote, 28,000, which Deputy Administrator thought was probably a little on the high side. So we're hoping that it would come in, somewhere under that. But maybe if we put a half up to a maximum of 14,000 or something. That way we only pay half of the invoice to a maximum.
And whatever that maximum is what you,
Yeah. We'd originally, I think the intent was originally to put 14,000 in there to be half of the quote they had,
Yeah.
but we think that that quote is pretty high too.
Another thing that we could do is we could wait until all the actual pricing comes in, and then at that time, I know the museum is working right now on maybe more quotations, so we could wait and look at this next council meeting. Comfortable?
Council, do you want to wait until we see some actual tenders before we make a decision on this?
I think we can make a decision tonight, but up to 15,000. Don't you think? We'll pay half up to 15. Yeah.
We're only gonna pay half anyways, so.
I would be in favor of passing it tonight and doing half up to the 15 myself as well.
Okay.
I can
I'll
agree
like
to
that
that.
idea.
That's good.
That you wanted them to, that you did want them to give administration their 3 quotes.
Okay, if we're good with leaving it at 15 and leave that in the administration's hands to take a look at the quotes, I will need a mover and a seconder for the motion, please. Moved by Councillor Galbraith, seconded by Councillor Becker. All in favor? Okay, carried. Thank you. Okay, agenda item 7.3. The Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to approve the discretionary use permit for bulk fuel and storage facility at 1021 7th Avenue West, and that approval is granted on condition that no written submissions from assessed property owners within the 75-meter boundary are received prior to noon on April the 9th, 2020, pursuant to section 3, sub 10, sub 11 of zoning bylaw 0414, and that the bulk fuel and storage facility complies with the development standards of discretionary commercial and industrial uses pursuant to section 6 sub 14 sub 51A of zoning bylaw 0414. That the owner is responsible to obtain appropriate licensing and meet provincial regulations for the bulk fuel and storage facility. And that if the approved bulk fuel and storage facility violates any of the above noted conditions, then the permit may be revoked. I'll pass this through to Deputy Administrator Kim to comment on.
Sure, so this property is located in the industrial area, 1021 7th Avenue West. The property is actually leased out to High Heat Energy Services, so they're the company that has requested the discretionary use. We do have a letter of authorization from the property owners, so that is one requirement. We sent a letter to 75-meter boundary to the properties in that area on this, and we didn't receive any feedback. And so in our zoning bylaw, in an M1 zoning district, it is a allowable use if it goes through the process. So administration feels that, they're meeting all the requirements, and council wishes to pass this, then we just need a resolution to move forward.
Okay, any questions? Any questions on this, council? Okay, I think it's just a pretty standard fuel tank request that we've passed before many times. If that's okay, then I'll have a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Baker, Councillor Anderson, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay. That the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to accept as submitted the list of accounts as paid by the Town of Kindersley and in the amount of $336,309.94 And then a copy of said accounts be attached to and form a part of the minutes of this meeting. CAO Audrey, did you get any queries on these?
I did not.
Council, do you have anything there that you want to?
Audrey, I meant to get back to you. I just didn't do it. Can you just tell me there was a fire hall $8,800 bill from Guy's Furniture? What was that?
That was actually a bill from last year, 2019, that we forgot to pay. So that was paying for the stove, the fridge, microwave,
There was some washer
washer and dryers. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it just got missed in 2019.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions, Council? If not, can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Elise, Chris? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, agenda 9.1A is that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to approve the first reading of bylaw 20-2-20 being a bylaw of the Town of Kindersley to establish property tax penalties. And I would ask CAO Audrey to speak on this, please.
Yeah, so this is the bylaw that we have that sets the penalties for the town of Kindersley for the taxes. Previous to this bylaw, which is being repealed, the deadline for taxes or the due date was July 31st. In lieu of the situation that we've been having with the COVID-19 and many people being without work, this bylaw will extend that due date to October 31st before any penalty is put on the current taxes. The remaining of the bylaw, taxes on arrears, which is at the 2%, will stay the same as it always has been. It's just changing the current penalty. Basically what this bylaw is doing is changing the due date of when the taxes are due by, otherwise the penalties and everything stay the same.
I might add, this is something that I think we counted up. There's 8 other communities in Saskatchewan that have done the same thing, which is extending their penalty deadline by 3 months to try to help people out with this COVID pandemic. So, Council, any comments on this? Seeing none, I would ask for a mover and a seconder, please, for the motion. Councillor Becker is moving. Second, Councillor Galbraith. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. We've got to do this a couple or 3 times. So 9.1B, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to approve the second reading of bylaw 2-20. Again, I need a mover and a seconder, please. Elise and Rob. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And 9.1C, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to approve that 3 readings be given to bylaw 2-20 at the April 13, 2020 regular meeting of Council. Mover, seconder again, please. Dean and Chris. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And finally, 9.1D, that the Council of the Town of Kindersley resolves to approve that bylaw 02-20 being a bylaw of the Town of Kindersley to establish property tax penalties be read a 3rd time and hereby be approved, and that the approved copy of this bylaw be attached to and form part of these minutes. Mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Becker, Randy, Gary, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. There Agenda item 10.1, that the council of the town of Kindersley resolves to approve the consent agenda, including the following items. February and March RCMP report, library AGM minutes, library meeting board minutes, Chamber of Commerce, small business, letter and update, Government of Saskatchewan taking care of mental health during pandemic, Sask Water operational report of the water treatment plant, and Melfort City cost savings at the Northern Light Palace. Audrey and Kim, do you have anything to add to these points?
I don't think so. The last one was just, that was actually forwarded to us, just with a lot of the facilities going into, like with COVID-19.
Yeah, hibernation.
Yeah, hibernation. So it's just, that's what Melfort's doing, and actually the Rocky Mountain Equipment Building, they're looking at doing the same thing. So just put in the council information if it's something that you want to pursue. I'm sure this is just one company that obviously offers this. I haven't looked into it at all. I just received this, I think, on Thursday. Put it in the council package. I thought it was some good information if we can save some dollars on our power and heating and that kind of thing for facilities if the town put in hibernation mode. Might be something, for us to look at to try to save some dollars.
Councillor Baker, you like looking at that type of savings things, so maybe assign you to that one. Any other questions on the items in here? Pretty straightforward stuff that we usually have. If none, could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Elise, Chris? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And finally, 14.1, that the council of the town of Kindersley resolves that all business having been concluded, the April 13th, 2020 regular meeting of council be adjourned at 6:40 p.m. Mover, seconder. Deputy Mayor? Becker, Councillor Becker. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.